I want to introduce you to a brand that I'm working with called Dizzo. They offer dissolvable supplement strips, which means the vitamins are absorbed 4 times more than tablets and capsules. So these are perfect if you want quicker results or maybe you can't take tablets. You guys know that I only work with brands that I love. I am personally using their B12 strips and their energy strip. As a business owner, I get tired. So I kind of need that boost every day, and these are definitely helping with my energy levels. I'm also taking their multivitamin strips, which taste lovely. Go and check out their website in the show notes. Go and order yours and let me know what you think. Welcome to the Life of KG, your ultimate destination for all things motivation and business insights. Join me, Katie Godfrey, serial entrepreneur and the brains behind the KG brand. Along the way, we'll welcome inspiring guests and share invaluable business tips to fuel your growth journey. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. With that said, let's dive into the world of success together. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of A Life of KG. We are now in December, your super busy time. So enjoy the rush and make sure that you're booking all the appointments through to January and February so we don't have that natural dip that sometimes we have. Today on the show, I have Amanda and Caroline from the Creative Hub Studio. They are clients of mine and I'm so excited to get them on the podcast because they have a different concept when it comes to salons, which I can't wait for you to hear about. So without further ado, here they are. Hi guys.
Hi.
How are you both?
Really
Welcome
good.
to the studio.
Really good, thank you.
So excited to have you on. So let's do an intro of you both first. Who are you? What you guys do? Do you want to go ahead first?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Caroline. I am co-owner of Creative Hub Studio out in Eversholt. And what we do is we run, we have a place where small businesses, hair and beauty professionals come and run their business within our business. And I help them on their journeys.
I love that. Yourself?
Hi, I'm Amanda and I'm the co-founder of the Creative Hub Studio, and I, alongside Caroline, help to develop other people to grow their businesses and to provide a environment that they can feel happy and proud of and be very professional in whatever they, are trained in to do.
Yeah. And what I was drawn to you guys so much about, which I remember saying to you when we first spoke on the phone, is my passion is when it comes to the hair and beauty industry, people doing things properly. And, if you're doing employment and do that properly, if you're renting space, do that properly. If you've got self-employed people, if that's not properly, then don't do it at all. Like I'm so passionate about it and talk about it all the time. And you guys have the best concept for this, which we will get onto in a little bit so people can understand more how that works and maybe even see if it's for them. But first of all, let's go before this all happened. Like, what was your background? Has it always been hair? What's the drill with that?
So with me, I started out, at school, I wanted to go in the Navy from the age of 13.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, a bit different.
Yeah, so that was my thing. And then it came to me leaving school at 16 and then thinking, actually, I don't think I want to do that. And my mum, bless her heart, saying, why don't you become a hairdresser, Caroline? You're always doing hair. You're always cutting your doll's hair. You've always done this. And I was like, what, as a job? So anyway, I had started off YTS, which was a scheme back in the day, and did my apprenticeship and did David East College at Barnfield. So that's what I did. And loved it, loved hairdressing, loved the social side of it, loved being a party animal and, all of that goes with hairdressing. And then from there, I had the opportunity to go to Wales and I went and moved to Wales and I started working in a salon there and they all thought I was from London. So I was a bit of a celebrity in a little place called Brecon, little town called Brecon. But I loved it. And I learned a lot about running a salon there. And I think one of the biggest things there was I put standards into that salon because they were really important to me. And even like we did cap highlights then. And the way I did my cap highlights, people used to come to me because of the way I put it on. Like, I mean, you can't really do much with cap highlights, but I used to do it in a certain way.
Yeah.
And everyone used to watch, and so it was so that was a standard thing. And I kind of got into the liking that sort of side of hairdressing, like learning new ways of doing things and changing things up. So I loved that, and yeah, it was really cool. And then I got the chance to the guy I was with at the time was offered a job out in Spain, so I went out there with him and did 3 months landscape gardening.
Oh wow!
Which is a bit different to having scissors in my hand to having a big like hammer thing, doing rocks and making walls and all sorts. So that was really exciting, but I loved it. That was out just outside of Estepona, and I absolutely loved it. We worked hard and played hard there for 3 months. I had a ball. Then came back and we decided to move to Australia. So I moved out because he was Australian. Moved out to Australia and I was out there for 3.5 years.
Wow.
Hairdressing was really good. It was like I think anyone that travels, you get such a zest for life, and you learn so much about yourself and about other people, and I think I really that's when I really had my passion, started getting my passion for people, because that's when I realised I love people and love learning about different cultures and I just loved people. I just loved learning about how people work and how their brains work and how everyone works differently in different places. And Australia was really interesting as a hairdresser because where I worked, I was on the beach. So people used to come in their shorts and had no shoes on, and like we'd just have, that's when I learned to undercut, because they would just have these dreadlocks and I'd have to pile all the dreadlocks on top of their head and shave all underneath like with a big razor. I mean, it was mad. It was a mad time, but I loved it. And they were really quite forward thinking in Australia because they had a lot of hair shows, and I felt they were ahead of us.
Yeah,
over
they
there.
definitely are. I feel that as well.
They really are, and I loved it. I loved learning all the new stuff and going to all the hair shows. And I remember going to this show, and the name of the salon was Beyond the Fringe, and I just thought that was so cool. I was just like, what a brilliant name! And then another salon was called Chocolates for Breakfast.
Really?
I just thought that is so cool. I want to go and work there. Just thought it was great. So yeah, I was there for like 3.5 years. And I think if they had social media and we had, all the FaceTime and stuff now, I might have stayed, but I got very, very homesick because we didn't have that like back in I'm talking like years ago. Because actually I have been in the hairdressing for over 40 years.
Wow.
I hate to say.
Amazing.
But yeah, so back then it was literally phone calls and letters. So I struggled, being that far away from my family. But I had a fantastic time. But yeah, it was time to come home after then. So I came back, and then I started working in a salon and became manager quite quickly in the salon, and found that I loved managing. I loved managing people. I loved teaching, not being a trainer, but teaching people to their life skills and, that kind of thing, and how to become the best that they could possibly be, because that's what I was learning. And I remember going on a course with Alan Austin Smith, fantastic hairdresser, and did some work with him, and I loved it. And I started learning a lot about myself. And then I did this program called the Fantastic Ambassador Program, and it was brilliant. It taught me how to manage people. It taught me how I could manage myself and other people, and also it taught me a lot about body language and how people's minds work. And I got really interested in that, and I just love learning about the brain and stuff like that. So I actually went on an NLP course as well with Paul McKenna and Richard Bandler.
Oh, I think that might be the same one I done.
Oh, was it in London?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was on that.
How funny.
Oh, I can't believe that. It was a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. I done mine like just after COVID.
Oh, so mine was before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't it fantastic?
Yeah, really good.
I loved it. So yeah, that's when I just love learning about how people's brains work and how people are and body language and all of that. So got really into that, did that. And then the Fantastic Ambassador program, then I put it back to the salon, taught it in the salon, and we did a lot of work with that. Amanda came and worked at the salon that I was managing, and we did the Fantastic Ambassador program together, didn't we? Which was amazing. And then built the salon up to 2010. We got through to the Hairdressers Journal's nominated best salon of the year, wasn't it?
Small salon of the year.
Best small salon of the year, which was fab. We all went up to London and did all that.
Time.
So kind of got
they're
to
so good, aren't they?
Oh, it was
Award nights
fantastic. We did have fun, didn't we? We've had a lot of fun. So yeah, kind of got to a level where I'd got to my level, but it was everyone else was sort of ready to expand, and we kind of got to the salon that we were ready to burst. So people needed to become managers. So I devised, from the Fantastic Ambassador, I devised a little management program for people that wanted to become managers, and Amanda was one of them. And it was really successful, wasn't it?
Really.
And we got some really, like yourself and Lucy, there was about 5, but the two of the were kind of the ones that really flourished, and we opened another salon on the back of that. So that's when I actually became an owner of a business owner, because I was manager, obviously, and then my next step was to own a salon. So I went into partnership with the company that I was with, and brought into that and opened another salon, and just was just loving life, really.
So you've been on quite a journey.
I've been on a big journey,
a worldwide journey as well. We've literally been here, there and everywhere. I love it. And we'll get on to the salon and obviously what you're doing now as well.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. Well done. You've done incredible.
Thank you.
And I think it's really shown as well with me working with you over the last couple of months, like both of your passion is literally people. Like that just shines through all the time. You wanting to help. I know you're wanting to do stuff with young people as well to help them, which I've got a massive passion for as well. So I think we should collab on something with that, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, it shines through. And I think you have to be a special type of person to like have that, like, like really do care about other people. Yeah. So I love that. And I think that's why we all get on so well. Nice. How about you, Amanda?
Okay, so I fell into hairdressing through doing work experience, because my passion at school was fashion design, but with the career advice in the 80s, it wasn't as lovely as we would have liked. So I fell into this salon and I just loved it from the moment I went in there, because it was creating with just a different type of material. So for me, that was, my start of my career, and I just loved, again, working with the people there, and I had such great mentors really early on. So my core training, was incredible. I can't fault anything that I had, and they pushed me to my limits. So I just expanded and I became sort of the company trainer. So I'd been in education from quite early on, and we ended up having 7 salons. So I was an educator that went round all the salons, which I loved. So a lot of young people, and passing on my skills, because, what's the point of having all these skills if you can't share them? Mm-hmm. So I was developing myself and helping others to develop. And then the opportunity came for me to go with one of the directors of the company to open a salon in Milton Keynes. So it was lovely to have that experience of literally from nothing. There was no salon there at all. And we was in a business area, and it was a whole different concept. And we were training, others as well to do customer service, because in the 90s it was a real burst of customer service, how you could be that bit different rather than just being like everybody else. And so this whole concept was Alan Austin Smith from Fantastic Salon. He was running upstairs, sort of like for other salons to come to do the customer service, whereas we were running the salon downstairs of how you do your customer service. And still from that, then I was training the young people that were coming through from college, and we had our own private sort of education. So I loved doing that. And then I decided to have 2 children, which was a bit of a shock for someone that was never having children. I absolutely loved having the children, and I found that a learning curve of how to deal with people, how to develop people. So I'm not sure if it was the hairdressing side that helped me with that or the other way round. But so I had my 2 children, and then I went part-time. I was then still doing the training at the salon, but in my at home, I then started to run my own private business as a freelancer. So everything was going really well there, and I developed the business up really well. But then I just felt that I was being 3 different people. I was a trainer in Milton Keynes, I was being a mum, and then I was being a hairdresser on the road. And it was all a bit too much, and I didn't feel like I was giving everything as much attention as I should do. So I wanted to get it all in one space. So then that's when I started to look around more locally for somewhere where I could do that. And that's where I met Caroline, because I just turned up at the salon and it all fell into place. And I was able to do all 3. Well, I wasn't a mother there, but I was able to do the training. Yeah, it did feel like it sometimes. I was able to be a trainer and educate the next generation, and I was there for another 18 years.
Wow. So you guys have been in each other's lives for a long time.
20 years.
Yeah.
How is it, obviously, running businesses together? Like, do you find you've got your own roles? Like, do you clash? Like, because it's quite hard to find business partners that work well together, but you guys have known each other forever.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. That was one of the biggest things when we decided to go into business together. It was a bit like, oh my gosh, like this could ruin our friendship because we've been friends for such a long time.
But we did sit and question it and went through everything, you know, the pros and the cons. And, you know, we knew the core thing that we had, that we liked working and developing people, and we were always looking forward. And that's what we found frustrating in the environment we were in, that we would come up with these ideas or have a vision, and there was too much negativity to take that forward. So we just knew as people that we were on the same wavelength. And our core...
We always had the same mindset, didn't we? But I think
our values and everything were the same.
I think that's what did it for me. I think our core values and beliefs are so aligned. They're so aligned. They're so the same. And that's the biggest thing, I think, because I think I completely 100% trust Amanda, and that's the biggest thing for me. Like trust is my biggest thing. And I've always trusted her with everything. And I think knowing that I think that's the biggest thing. And also, I think we can tell each other anything. And even though it can be hard sometimes, you know, if you're not happy with something, we don't just hold it in. We actually tell each other.
Yeah, the communication's there.
And we don't shout and scream at each other. We just literally talk, we say it, we listen, we take it on board, and then we'll thrash it out together, won't we? And we'll, you know, we might disagree, agree to disagree sometimes, but we never walk away and think, oh, you know, we always sort it out. And that's been huge, I think.
Yeah. I think we can walk in a room and sort of like, you're not right today. And first of all, we'll both go, have I done something? And no, and it might not be that. It might be something that's happened out of work, but we're just so in tune with each other. Excuse me. But we're not frightened of saying it. We'll work through it and help. You know, it's like being a married couple, really.
It is.
Well, when you say about values and stuff, it's so important. It's the best relationship for the longest relationship.
for me.
The values are so important in like any relationship, where it comes to being business partners, when it comes to having a husband or wife, when it comes to like your team, if you're like not got the same culture, like, so it's good that you guys recognize that. And
and our thing that we say is in our whole business to everybody is trust and honesty. And if you can't do that, then you haven't got a relationship, have you?
No, trust and loyalty is like my ultimate biggest thing. Like my biggest thing. Like if I can't trust someone, I just can't do it. And if someone's not loyal, I'm like, I'm out. Like just they're my biggest things.
Yeah, exactly the same. It's funny, isn't it? And everyone's different, and there'll be people that have different values and beliefs, and it's not that they're wrong, it's just it doesn't align with us, and we just don't work with people like that anymore. No, which is kind of good.
Yeah. See ya. So let's go back to you owning the salon. That was the first salon you owned, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How long did you have that for?
So the Milton Keynes one we had for 7 years, and then the lease finished on that, and we made the decision not to keep it, just for different reasons. And then the other salon had been going for like 30 years, and I'd been with it for 25, 26 years, so a long time. Yeah,
wow.
a long time. But I don't know. I think I loved it, but then I found that owning a salon was really hard work, really tough. And I think after 2010 we went through that recession, things were hard, as a business owner, things started to get tough. And, colour houses were still putting their prices up twice a year. Product companies putting their prices up twice a year. But us as hairdressers and beauty therapists, we just weren't putting our prices up.
No.
And as salon owners, I think it was looking back, it was a really, not a great thing to do. We should have actually been brave enough to put our prices up, but we didn't. And the team didn't. I mean, you remember that we wanted to put the prices up. The team didn't want to. You don't. And it was just like, gosh. And anyone that runs a business knows that you've got to be bringing in more than you're putting out. And it was becoming really tough.
And I think that's still a constant battle today, though, isn't it? Like, I think it's getting easier for people as the cost of living and everything, but it's always been such a big thing when it comes to raising prices. And for us as the salon owners, it's really difficult because we have to do it, but then the team aren't on board. So then you're thinking, oh God, they're not on board, so then I can't do it. Or then the clients then start kicking up, and it's just this snowball effect to the point of you're like, why am I in business then?
Absolutely.
If we're not even cutting the costs, what's the point of all of this?
Yeah.
And it is that fear, isn't it, of putting the prices up and everyone leaving.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that, when with the whole thing with COVID, that, everything that was talked on, even on TV, was, I haven't been to my hairdresser, or I haven't had this done. And I think the value of what we do went up a lot. And I think then people started to appreciate it more. And I think after COVID, because we had to put our prices up because we couldn't do as many people, and the whole concept of it was easier to explain to people. So they seemed to get it at the time. And I think it was because as an industry, we were probably putting ourselves down and thinking of ourselves as not worthy. But, you have to look at all what the other stuff that we do for people and their wellness, that makes a big difference to people's lives, and it is worth them paying the correct price for what we do, So I think if the service that they receive and the feeling that they have when they leave, if that comes to the value, then they will pay that. Do you know what I mean?
I think you've actually really hit the nail on the head on all of that, because I think especially as us like coming out of school or thinking what career do we go into, it's always been the industry of, oh, if you haven't done well, go and do hair and beauty. Or if you don't know what to do, go and do hair and beauty. Or parents kicking up and going, what, are you going to do hair and beauty? Why aren't you going to do, I don't know, be a doctor or something? It's always been an industry that's been so looked down on that then it's mostly why people haven't been charging their worth or anything like that.
It was exactly why. And I think COVID changed, and I think the industry was looking, you know, for me, I'd been in the industry for, 20 odd years, and it was like, nothing's changing. Like the world is changing. The whole world had changed, yet our industry, I felt, wasn't changing. And I just thought, God, we really need change. And like we spoke about it a lot, didn't we? I love change. Like I absolutely love change.
Keeps you on your toes.
Like,
It's just the next step forward.
Some people really get scared of it, but I absolutely thrive in it. I love change. And, we wanted to change things up in the salon when we were talking about it. And, I just thought there's got to be another way. It can't be this stressful. It can't be this hard. Things have got to change. And then COVID happened, and, it's like, be careful what you wish for, because all of a sudden, like, the world changed.
Yeah.
And it changed. And like everything Amanda said, people missed us more than probably anybody. And they actually started to value who we were, because we're not just hairdressers. We're not just beauty therapists. We're counsellors.
Counsellors, we're their best friend.
We're their best friend.
We're doctors.
Literally
everything.
They probably get more time with us than they do with their doctor, because you only get 5 minutes.
And it came out in a survey, didn't they, that we were missed more than anything. So I think that was fantastic for our business, because we actually then had value. We actually knew our worth. And that's the biggest thing for me that's come out of COVID for us. I think for the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
People know their worth. We are valuable. It is worth spending that money with us, because we give so much.
Yeah. It definitely was after that, and people could start raising their prices. People understood more. I think they felt sorry for us that we kept opening, closing. Like there were so many people that closed and stayed closed and didn't open back up again. Yeah. So many people.
That's exactly what happened to us, because it was hard enough before COVID, but then when COVID came, we got through the first lot of COVID. But I mean, we literally went from 14 chairs to 7. So that halved our income straight away. You had people on furlough. We didn't, as directors, get any money. It was tough. It was tough, and we were still going in. We were still working. We were still trying to make the salon so that all the sections were 2 meters. I mean, how many times? I mean, Amanda, bless her, was with me every day. We were in there, measuring 2 meters between each. I mean, it's laughable now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We deep cleaned the salon. We had to change everything. It was just crazy when you think about it. But we did it, and we did get grants and things, didn't we? But they had to pay for all the PPE and all that. It just went. And I don't know about you, but we still had to pay rent as well. That didn't change.
No. So
it was a really tough time. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, if this happens again, I don't think we're going to get through it. And unfortunately, we didn't. However, we did like the way, when we came back, we liked the way that we worked. We liked that we couldn't have a client in between. And we spent all that time with that client, and it was so nice.
It was having that personal
it was
thing
lovely,
again as well,
it?
wasn't it? And providing that service that we dreamt of, that you were doing a one-to-one, and you weren't then passing them off here and there. And it was... the hygiene thing as well, that was massive for us, and it just put everything in place. But there was still something missing, and the industry as a whole had to change, because, as Caroline said, the old model wasn't working, and it's just like, why isn't it working? What is it the clients want? What is it the therapists, the stylists want? And as a business, if it's not working, we've got to look at how else we could run that. And that's why we sort of like started to revalue everything, wasn't it? And how...
Well, it gave us a lot of thinking time, didn't it? It gave us a lot of thinking time. And I think for myself, COVID was very bittersweet, wasn't it? It was really, it was great in some ways, but it was tragic in other ways. And I know a lot of people had some terrible times in COVID and, and it was awful for that. And I do feel for those people. However, for me, it was very bittersweet because my mum got diagnosed with MND at the beginning of COVID. So for me, I had that time. I had that time with her. And it really made me, which I feel blessed to have had that with her. But it also made me reevaluate life. I know it's a bit deep, but it really did. And it really made me think, what is this all about? We don't know how long we've got here. My dad got dementia at 67, my mum's 74 and she's got MND.
Yeah.
We don't know how long we've got left.
No.
And I want to make sure that I have the best time and the best life and the best, and want to be happy. And it really made me think I'm actually not happy. I'm not happy at the moment and things have to change because I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to live as stressed. I don't want to be stressed out. So it made me think how, really did make me think about, how we could change things and going back into the salon, how we could, do things differently. And we started, didn't we? And, we started trying to put these things in. However, we went back into COVID again. And I just knew from then that was it. I knew we weren't going to survive that.
So did you not open the salon back up after that?
No.
Was it done? It was done.
No, we did, didn't we? No, we did. We did.
About another 6 months.
We had about another. I'm trying to think back. When did we go back? We closed in the December, didn't we? And when did we reopen? Was it March?
It was in March, April time, wasn't it? No, it was
So was it a
April. It
year
was the
after
14th because it was the day of our anniversary.
14th
of April.
Of April. So then we closed in the June.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were literally open for 2 months. But I knew that we were not going to be able to do it. So we did reopen the doors and we did, let everyone know that it was going to close.
Yeah. A heartbreaking time, but
it was
also
the most difficult decision. But when you sit down with your accountant and they tell you that that's your only sort of, you just think, okay, but in another way, I just thought, well, maybe I always believe that everything's meant to be. And, I always look at everything as an opportunity. And I just thought, well, this is an opportunity to maybe this is, for a different way, for a change.
Yeah.
You have to look at it like that. And it was devastating. I'm not gonna take that away because it was devastating. It was devastating for me, for the team, for everyone that worked there. It was a devastating time. However, you have to move on and you've got to look at things and learn and take things from past experience. And we closed the salon in the June and my mum died 3 weeks later.
Wow.
So it was pretty tough.
Yeah, real tough time.
So it was amazing. Absolutely amazing she was. And I don't think she'll ever realise how amazing she was to have dealt with, the closing of the salon and everything that came with that. And then to be dealing with the situation with her mum. And as Caroline has said, that she is a people person. So she's letting down all these people in her life that, she'd given her life to.
Yeah.
So that was so heart-wrenching. And for me to be part of that and to be an onlooker, that it was just so devastating to see a friend of mine being treated and going through what she did, and then to still be supporting me to our future. And, we were in mid-50s at the time thinking, what the hell? What are we going to do? How do we get through this bad situation? Because we were too young to stop working and we were still passionate about our work. But, you know, that was a hard time for both of us to get through, to see, you know, where the future went. And to be honest with you, I never wanted a salon of my own, never, because I'd seen from Caroline and from other people that I'd worked alongside that had their own businesses, the hassle and the stress and, you know, employing people, how, you know, how that affects them as their lives. You know, it's not all roses when you've got a salon of your own. Everybody thinks, oh, they, you know, they're making loads of money, they've got doing this and it's all right for them, but they don't appreciate that what's the underlying of it all. So, you know, for us to come through that together, that was a thing. Well, what's the word? Shows our relationship as well. Sort of like how sort of like we could hold each other up in going through different things, but joined at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's when we really looked at sort of like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
You know, what do we want? What do the clients want? What does the industry tell us? And, you know, how can we make our work-life balance? You know, that was our core thing of our future.
Yeah. I think it's also really important to, you know, share that business is hard. Like, and like you said, you've seen your bosses or other salon owners that are running these businesses and salons, and like, it's a lot of my staff go, I'm never opening a salon, because they see it. Like, and I think it's important to share that, because like you say, people online will go, oh, they're doing this, or they're making the money, or they're going on holiday, or they don't work, they're not in the salon. It's like, oh my God, it's just so not like that. How did you find running an employee team? Because that's a different ball game altogether.
Yeah, I loved growing people, loved developing people. I loved all of that. I loved having people coming in at 14, 15, and I mean, I'm not a mum myself, but I feel like I've been a mum to many.
You have.
I loved having them, and I just loved learning. I mean, Amanda was a fantastic trainer, but I just loved watching them grow and develop, and I loved all of that. So as an employer for me was just, I loved that. And most of them
and that's
just,
what you did it for,
and that's what I did it for, is all what I did it for. And I loved that as an employer. I loved watching them develop, and a lot of them like stayed, you know, still, you know, it's still, you know, I still work with 2 of them now, 3 of them, which is lovely. But yeah, I as an employer, I loved that side of things. And when they were great, they were amazing, you know, absolutely amazing. However, what I didn't like was you'd get some people in a team that were absolutely flying and giving it everything. They were real passionate. They had it all, you know, they had the passion, they had the drive, they were looking after clients, they were giving excellent customer service, they were bringing the money in. And then you had a few that would just be sitting in the team room moaning, you know, you get that. And we had that, and that was what I really struggled with as an employer, because I just always felt that these people that were working really hard and bringing all the money in deserved to be paid more. You know, they deserved much more money.
Yeah.
However, because we had to pay people this for sitting in the, you know, the minimum wage, and paying people for sitting on their backsides moaning, you couldn't pay these people. And I never felt that was fair.
Yeah.
I really struggled with that as an employer. That was my biggest thing. And I, you know, and as much as you try and get these people, you'll always have a few, you know. So I never felt, I always felt that was hard. I felt that paying the colour houses, the you know, just trying to balance everything, I felt was really, really difficult as an employer. You know, it's just, that would be the only thing I just felt was not fair. And I don't think people because people didn't realise what it is like we were saying, running your own business, they didn't get it. Their mindset was very different. And
it does all come down to different people's mindsets, don't it? I was actually talking to my partner about this the other day because he has a very employee mindset and I have employer mindset.
Yeah.
So our mindsets are very different in that. And it's not anyone's fault or anyone's worse or anything like that. It is purely just the mindset, and the mindset is just different.
Yeah.
But I think I love employment for the reasons you loved employment. I love it when I'm interviewing and I'm like, oh my God, this person is literally going to be a diamond or she's going to be a unicorn. And I'm like, yes, build them up. And they're with me for years. Like, I absolutely love it. And I've always been a boss that hates paying minimum wage. Like, it grieves my soul. But now they've made it so difficult. We have no choice but to pay the minimum wage.
Yeah.
So even now as an employer, I'm like, I hate that, but there's not really much more I can pay you because they're not making it possible to do that. But also, like you said, when you have got the different levels of workers in there, that some are doing incredible and some aren't, but you can't pay all the completely different rates because then it causes team war.
Absolutely.
And that's what the difficult thing is, but people just don't see that side of it.
No, they don't.
I don't think you understand that until you go into management and ownership, because for me, coming from the other side, from Caroline, I was one of those people that was working really hard in the salon and enjoying every moment that I had, but being frustrated that I couldn't be the person that I was, and I felt like I was in a cage, that I couldn't be as creative, I couldn't develop myself in the way that I wanted to, I couldn't be the way with the clients, all because of that reason, because the money wasn't there and we couldn't move forward. And
we would be like so busy.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
so
were
busy.
really busy. So it was really frustrating. And you know, as for the employed, going into management, so it's getting a taste of that and getting to know a bit more about the background of how the employed business worked, it was just like, oh my gosh, you know, you there's things that go over your head when you're employed, but when you get into that next level, you see it and you start sort of understanding why you can only have that as your budget for your colour, or you can have that as your budget for, you know, your tea and coffee.
Why
and
you can't be
like
putting coloured waste down the basin? Why you, do you know, like things
and
like that?
And you always think, oh my
you
God,
know.
they must think I'm so tight. Or, God, you earn all of this and you're telling us what budget for this. And I'm like, this is just how it works.
Yeah,
you used to have a bucket to put in the colour. Any of the assistants used to have to put the colour, unused colour in this bucket, and it'd fill up and it'd be like, see, this is
now
money.
£100 worth of stock that you've just thrown in the sink, you know, like it was just, and I did feel like for the young people coming through, there was less and less. So there was less and less of that. So there was less people coming through, but also that was being made harder because obviously we were trying to, our columns were stacked, and then we had to give them 20 hours of training each week, and we couldn't fit that in, and that was really hard, wasn't it? I found that was really hard
because it was taking away what we love doing.
Exactly. So we actually and that's when I think I came to the crux of like, this model's not working anymore. Something's got to change here. You know, this model is just not working. We've got to change something.
And so you've gone from not wanting to have a salon to now both of you have a salon. But do you want to share like this new concept that you guys have and how it works?
So basically because we wanted change. I'm
let's look at the things that like what we was just saying earlier on about what when we were trying to grow in the other salon and then COVID hit. The things that we loved about the salon was that you got one-to-one with the client. We did hourly pricing. We were able to sort of like take our time over a client, and all those and loads of other things that we would like, well, this is what we like. How can we make this happen? And so much has been on the emphasis of the client and their well-being. It's like, how could we develop something that would, one, give us the work-life balance, because we can't work as fast as the young ones anymore. Love to be able to work as fast as them, but we couldn't. So we're thinking about ourselves as owners, plus the people that were going to join us, how and what did they want? And then giving the clients, again, a different experience. So that's where it started, didn't it, really?
That's how it all started. Because you said to me, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I don't really know. I'm going to, I don't really know. I'd have to think about sort of, I don't want to stop what I'm doing, but I don't really want to be working on my own, because that's not what we do.
I've never done it.
Don't really want to work on my own. I can still do hairdressing. I still do clients, but I don't want to just be doing that, because that's not what we do. We develop people, we grow people. And I said, but I don't really want another salon to employ people. I don't want that stress. I just don't want any of that. And then we started, like you say, going through all the things. And
also I'd had my own business working from home and going round to people's houses. And I used to have a massive box of colour and, I'd take this, that and the other. And, I couldn't be as creative then, because let's say you came in and says, oh, I fancy being copper today. And I'd go, what have I got in my bag? And all the stuff that you had to take. And so I knew the pitfalls of being freelance. So that was another thing we discussed, because I was like,
because you didn't want to go freelance. I definitely wasn't going to go freelance.
Where do we go from there? But we wanted to be our own bosses.
But we did, we did, and we knew we wanted to work together. But I said, I'm not opening another. I'm not employing anyone. I'm not doing that anymore. I've decided I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I just decided that. So we were like, okay, so how can we do things? How can we do this differently? And we were kind of thinking about doing it in my garage, weren't we, to start with, like starting off there. And then it was your husband's friend, was it, that said that you'd been talking to, and he said, oh, would you think of going to a office or a barn or something?
Well, we just knew it'd got to be something different, and we'd even looked at high street salons, and
we'd gone over to Rest Park and that, hadn't we? And just as a little something like this, really, like a little place, just for the two of us to work in and just start something different. That was really the whole idea. And then your friend,
one of my friends,
the barn, the barns.
I'd seen it advertised, and I sort of said, to my friend, I said, you never said about this one, because I asked them to look out for a place, because they were in that industry, and he sort of said, well, I never thought of it. He said, but I know the owner. I could have a word, and so he had a word, and the landlord was like, I'm not so sure, because it was all office sort of space. And he says, well, they can come and have a look if they want to, and we'll go from there. So we went and had a look, and it was an office space with bright blue walls,
blue carpet.
And all sort of but in this lovely converted barn. And we just knew as soon as we walked in there, we were like,
well, first of all, I was like, shit. Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
You can swear, it's all good.
I was like, shit, this is a bit bigger than what I was kind of thinking, because it was on 2 levels, it had stairs, and it was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to make this work then? But we did love it. And then that's when we kind of started to get excited. And then that's when it all kind of, we started to think, because Amanda had spoken to a couple of other girls, and they were sort of saying, what are you doing? And then we were kind of thinking, well, if everyone was self-employed, if everyone was freelance, maybe we could, and that's when the whole thing was, well, we could just rent space out. So everyone could be freelance and they could rent space out. So that's when the whole thing started buzzing, wasn't it? It was like, right, okay, so how do we do this then? So we can rent space out. Everyone's freelance. We're all freelance, and we can have hairdressers, we can have beauty therapists, we can have nail technicians, and then it just went from there, didn't it? And then our main core thing was, for me, I didn't want to be stressed out anymore. I wanted work-life balance. We wanted work-life balance for everyone that worked there. So it was the wellness about people working there as well as the wellness about the clients. And that was the biggest thing. And if you come to our studio, you know, you've been, Katie, you look out and it is just beautiful
stunning.
countryside. And you literally walk in.
You just feel so relaxed.
And you feel so relaxed as soon as you walk in, and it's like, and that is what we wanted people to feel. And we want us to feel, And I can honestly say, when I go into work, I don't feel like I am working, which is so wonderful. And that's really what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So the other concept of that as well, if you think of it as like, we've provided that beautiful environment, that the shed that everybody's been doing in their garden, we've done that on a bigger scale, but we weren't working on our own, because the point of us not wanting to just work on our own, as the two of us, in a small place, was like, we'd become old hairdressers. We wouldn't be developing ourselves and other people. Like, that's what we were saying that we love to do. But it was just like, right, you need in our industry other people around you to get inspired and get creative and help each other and support each other. And that was the other concept. So in a way, we've provided that glorious shed, and then we've given the people their opportunity to bring their business and support each other, which is lovely to see. And it is so lovely and that passionate for
it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful journey. Yeah. Watching people just grow. And, you know, because going freelance is scary. Like, it's okay. Like, from being a mobile hairdresser, you're used to working on your own. You're mobile therapist. You're used to working on your own. When you're in a salon, you're not used to working on your own. You're used to that community. And I think from then going from that community and that salon feeling and then becoming on your own, I think that's difficult.
Yeah.
So what we do is we're really for those people that are in that environment as probably employed and want to be on their own and go and be, become self-employed, but they don't want to do it on their own.
Yeah.
So they stay somewhere and they might be really unhappy. They might be that person that's working really bloody hard and is not getting the money for it.
Yeah.
And deserves it. Because that's what I just, I look at the professionals that are working with us, and they get what they deserve. They earn good money.
Or even when we interview, and we get this a lot actually when we interview, where people have gone on their own, but they are now in their garden or at home, and they're wanting something else. So they're wanting the employed job, but they're not really wanting the employed job.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of being around the other people and that community feel.
Yeah.
So actually they won't sustain long term in my salon because they don't want that. They want more for themselves. Whereas your concept is where they'd be perfect.
Yeah. So that we're kind of giving them the environment.
But it's going back to like what I was saying earlier on about how I felt as being employed and feeling like I was in a cage.
Yeah, and capped.
And that I was just doing what I was being told, really. Whereas with this concept, having your own business, you can use whatever products you want to. You're not being told by the manufacturers, you can only have this, you can only have that. They can have whatever they like. They could expand in hair extensions. They could expand in curly hair or, whatever way that you wanted to go. And you could use whatever equipment you wanted. Whereas, again, in an employed salon, as you know, you can only afford to have so many products and companies in your salon. And you're not then given that license to be creative.
Yeah.
So there was that as well.
Yeah,
wasn't
completely
there?
brand neutral.
They are
which is
really
good.
running their own business
within our
your
business,
like completely their own. So if someone was like listening and they wanted to like sign up or they wanted more information, obviously they could head over to your website, see all the details. But how does it work? Do they pay per hour? Do they pay for a certain amount of hours? How does it work for you guys?
So they rent the space out hourly. So that was a big thing of ours. So work-life balance, people with kids, you can pick your own hours, which, we don't say you have to work from 9 to 5 every day, or these, you whatever space is available, you can have those hours and you pay hourly. It's really simple. You just work whatever hours you work each month, it's just added up, and then you get invoiced at the end of the month for those hours that you work. And if you're a hair professional and you want to use the products that are there, we have a thing called a smart mix, and you at the end you use it and it weighs up all the colour that you use or developers and stuff you use. We get a report at the end of the month and we just bill you for that. So it's really easy, really simple. And that's, it is that simple.
And we have a membership. So if you join as a member, your hourly rate is reduced. With that membership, you get so many benefits, and it's easy for us to label them all now here. But the best thing is to come and see how it works, because it's harder to explain on a piece of paper, but to actually see it in working, people get it more, because sort of you're getting your whole booking system, you're getting support with social media, you're getting business coaching, you're getting certain equipment that is provided for you, so you're not having to carry all that stuff around with you. All the refreshments are there for you, and it all comes under a monthly membership, which is a minimal amount, but it just sort of covers those bits. And if you was having your own business, they are all the things that you would have to pay for, yourself, which would cost you a hell of a lot more money if you was doing it on your own. Whereas in a group environment like that, it's sharing it between all of us. Yeah. So we're all paying for a little bit towards that social media. We're all paying a little bit more to the refreshments coming in and the alcohol that we provide as well. And so it's having all those bits that are the benefit of working in a co-working space.
Yeah, because it's so scary opening up a salon or opening up your own clinic, and you don't know if it's going to work or if it will work, or you don't want that risk, especially if you're not a huge risk taker and you don't want to build teams and you're like, I'm just happy on my own in my own space, then this is the perfect concept. And I just love how it is so like, you've got your employment model like I do and like you had, and then you've got this model which is completely by the books, self-employed, how it should be done. And I love it. I think you've done an amazing job. And obviously I come to visit you the other day and it was so funny. I told you this when I saw you, but every time I've gone past there on my way to Woburn, I've always gone, I love that block there. Like, I would love an office there. And I've always said it, and I've always been going, oh, one day I'll be in there. One day I'll be in there. And then when I put it in my sat nav and I drove in, I was like, oh my God, they're here. I was like, I love this. So I don't need it now because I can just live my vision for you guys.
That's great. I love that.
Well, you're part of our team, so you are in there.
I love it. I love it. Obviously, you guys are part of my mastermind as well. We are still very, very fresh in the mastermind. We haven't done our in-person day yet, which is in a couple of weeks, which I'm so excited about. We haven't done a retreat yet, which I can't wait for. So there's loads that are coming. So you haven't really seen like the whole package of what the mastermind entails yet. But how have you found it? What's changed? I know we've done quite a lot where you're like, Kate, oh, my head's going
over my head.
But how's the journey for the last couple of months been, as it's so new and fresh for you guys?
It's really great. I think that because we're doing something so different, although there are a lot more salons actually doing coming like going into co-working spaces now, but because it is so different, we've had sort of no one to for us to kind of talk to about what we're doing.
And
so
we've been on
many
courses or day like retreats and it's in the hairdressing industry, and it has just been the same sort of thing. And we're like, oh no, we've done all that. That's past.
We weren't able to.
You coming on board is sort of like a different eye on things and just a different look, and it's refreshing to say thank you very much.
Refreshing.
Okay.
It's been really refreshing, and it's great to just say, oh, Kate, what do you think? Like, and you're so, you're just there, isn't, that's just like, you're just there. And it's been really funny because I kind of forget to like we thrash things out and then it's like, and then I'm like, oh, let's ask Katie. And that's really nice, isn't it? Because we need that other, we felt like we just need somebody,
They're sounding board sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
And also somebody had said to us before that sort of like, we get on so well and get on great together. But then that can be a disadvantage because we've not got somebody pushing us to the sort of like next thing, because we'll say, oh yeah, we'll do that next month and we'll have a plan for it. But for you to sort of say, right, what about doing this, this and this? And then we're like, right, Katie said, so we'll go off and do it. So it gives us a focus,
gives us more
it?
structure, yeah. And I did do a coaching course before COVID hit, and which I really loved doing. But I wanted, and that's another thing that I love what we do, because I wanted to use that, but in a different way. So I wanted to use it for people that come to the hub and are self-employed, and so I can help them and coach and mentor them, which I am doing, which is good. But I recognise that I needed a mentor myself.
I think everyone does though, don't they? I think sometimes, and I think this is what the perception of what people get wrong is. I think that people think, oh, you need a mentor when you're just starting or when you're struggling.
No.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like if only people understood that it doesn't matter what level you get at or how many mentors you've had in the past that have been also amazing, that constant soundboard, that accountability, that change, because business is changing all the time. People that were in business 10, 15 years ago, well, like we was, how different is it to now?
Completely different.
That's what we've said today.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's huge.
It's completely different. So I think it speeds business up, but it's also, especially in our space as well, it's like sometimes we just need to know, am I doing this right? Is it normal that maybe I'm a little bit quiet? We've been having that quite a lot with some of the other salons at the moment. And it's just like, yeah, it's fine. Like reassuring people, or now obviously there's so much tech and stuff involved in business, isn't it? Obviously we've been doing that, landing pages, websites, like sales pages, all the things. You just need another eye to look over things.
But that's what I think has been really good, because we do need that, and because we are a bit older, we're not up, like you're much more techie than we are. And don't be scared to say, oh God, I need that. I need help with that. Because, I think a lot of people do, like they think, oh, don't ask them. But I don't, I put my hands up and say, I don't like social media. I don't like all that. I need help with it because I really don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think as long as you're able to do that, and you do need a mentor for that. You do need, because you've been able to point us out to so many different people and give us, different.
It's all the contacts.
It's been amazing. And all the, we've learned so much from those, the calls that we have, and
just all the ideas. And sometimes things like on the call, some things it might not be that people implement all of that straight away, or they might not be ready at that stage, or they might need to tweak things. But it's the ideas that I think feel that spark from them calls are so good. And I know I'm in a mastermind at the moment, and sometimes I'll be in the headspace of, don't need to go on the call today, so I won't. Or then I might backtrack a bit. Then I'll join a call, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so glad I joined this call. But I like it because I've got my mentor in my pocket. So I'm like, I use that more than anything because I'm like, I have access to her. And sometimes I just need that reassurance or that bounce off or whatever it is. But I just so feel strongly about having a mentor or a coach, or I like to call myself a strategist, like any of those things, just to, and obviously making sure it's the right person as well, because there's lots that aren't.
I think that's the biggest thing, that having the right person. And we went to, and I've been looking for quite a while at different people and different, and I was recommended to you. So, and, looked into you. And like I said earlier, I remember you opening your salons and people talking about you and saying how wonderful you were. And so it was,
I can't believe that. I literally warms my heart.
So it was a bit like, wow, and like watching your journey and seeing your journey, like it's so inspiring. And
thank you. Thank you. Well, I absolutely adore working with you guys. Like, I can't wait to see what the next 8 or so months brings with us working together, and
let's hope it's for young people, because we're both, like, we're
you're
all
so
really
passionate on young people, aren't you? Like, what do you feel your vision is for that? So I know we're still trying to hash it out.
That was the pros, and we were talking about pros and cons of the co-working space, and our salon, having a co-working salon, having a freelance, and that is the biggest thing, because we don't employ young people. So we have been trying to think of ways and how to bring young people into our new way of working.
I think we're at that stage that we were when we were questioning with the employed salon and the future. Where do we go from that? With that on the education side, because like I said, that's always been my passion with the young people. Excuse me, and it's got to change, and it's got to be, the whole industry's got to change, and I don't feel that the colleges are anywhere near that forward thinking. It's still how we were doing it.
When we were
in fact, I don't think it's as good as when we were doing it. We always say it's better in the old days, but all that rubbish. But I just feel that it's got to flip over. It's got to be done differently, whether it's employed salons or not employed salons. The whole concept has got to be more exciting for young people. The people don't want to learn in that same way. They want it now, and they want to be in there. They're seeing it all on social media, and then suddenly they are feeling that they can do all that. We should be embracing their excitement, and they do want to learn, because it's out there. But it's not being supported. Like if somebody went to university, they would get a grant to pay for their education. Yeah. Why isn't that happening in our industry? Why are we being left out here? We could be being paid to take somebody on such a more unique journey by them working alongside us. And then, they could, just for argument's sake, start with me with sort of like their core hairdressing. We've got so many contacts that can develop them even more. Caroline can teach them how to run a business. What more could they want? It was just this gradual sort of development, but we're not having the support from the government or in the education and how it runs now. And for us, that's it. We don't know what it is, but we're like putting fingers in different pies and sort of talking to people to see how, where.
We've started talking to colleges, haven't we? And, but
it's huge.
This is a huge thing.
It is huge. And I do feel that this is there's blocks, isn't there? Because it isn't an employed concept. But there must be other ways. I feel like there needs to be a good brainstorming session between the three of us.
Yeah, they'll definitely be doing that.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. If anyone's interested in finding out more about the space, or I'm guessing there's going to be people contacting you because they're like, this is such a good concept, teach me how to do it. And then there'll be some people that might be listening that are interested in renting space from you guys. Where is best for them to contact you?
They can go on our website. They can go on Insta, our Facebook. They can contact us.
Perfect. We'll put all the links in the show notes, so it will be there for you to just easily access and click. We'll make sure the social platforms are there. Please make sure you go over and like their Instagram page, because I know that's where lots of you hang out. So go and give them a follow. It is Creative Hub Studio. That's all it is, isn't it, on Instagram, the handle link. And so we'll put that in. Please go and like and follow that. Please share this episode so we can get this concept out as much as possible, because these guys are hugely passionate about this concept. I really am too. So we want to reach as many people as possible, and we can only do that with your help. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.